Hey guys, Louie here from LT's Custom Woodworks. Welcome to the shop. Today, another dollar. Today, we're going to get started on some doors. I have an order for 8 farm doors, or barn doors, I guess you can say. Now, the sliding bracket, they have somebody else machining that, because what they're going to do is take 8 doors and bridge them together so it all opens up as one. This is for a boathouse. So I'm just going to do one on camera, then the rest I'll do off camera, because it's all going to just be repeated cuts and repeated. It's the same size. They're 8 feet by 5 feet. So I'm only going to show you the one. I'm going to start off with some 2x6 fir, and we'll go from there. I'll take it over to the miter station and get these cut. Okay, there's a bottom rail, a middle rail, and a top rail. So all I did was I'm going to put these two together. I'm going to take a 2x6, put it up against, and I'm going to measure my 5 feet. Now I'll cut the 3 pieces to this length. I got all my pieces cut. What I want to do is there's going to be a 1x6 for panels. Now the 1x6 are going to be glued up and bridged together. But before I do that, I want to cut a dado in the center of all these boards. And that's where the panels are going to slide into. And I'm going to go the 3/4 of an inch thick. I was going to create a tenon on those 1x6s, but I decided to just slide the whole thing right in, and it should be good to go. So I'm going to take it over to the router table, and I'm going to cut a groove, a dado, in all these 4 boards, 6 boards. Sorry, 5 boards. I'm thinking ahead of myself. Now to create my center, because I want it to be centered the 3/4 of an inch, I'm going to use this little jig here. And I'm just going to mark my and then I'll mark, that's the center of the 3/4 of an inch. 3/8 on each side, and that will give me my center. Okay, so I forgot to run a dado on the middle, the center of this board, for the panels to go in this side and this side. So I will run this through, but since I have it set up, I am going to measure my 1x6s for here. I got my 2 end pieces in to the center of this board. I got 42.5. The 1x6s have to be cut at 41 3/4. I'll just double check. 41 3/4 is the deal. So I'll take it over my 1x6s to the miter station. I'll cut that, but I'll cut this groove in first. Okay, so now that I got all my pieces cut at 40.5 inches long, there's 9 pieces for this side, 9 pieces for the bottom. I am gonna run this dado now, and once I get that done, I'll take this off the table. We'll start setting these up, start marking for our dominoes. Got all my boards laid out. I'm gonna put dominoes on each end. On something like this, I'll probably do 4 dominoes per board. So I got 1 on each ends. I have these all numbered from 1 to 9 so they don't get mixed up. And now I'm going to start to cut in for my biscuits. Okay, I got all my boards ready to go. Got my dominoes ready to go. Now I am ready for my glue up. All the panels are glued and sanded. We're ready to do the joinery on the 2x6s. I'm going to cut some tenons out of these pieces. Now, of course, they're not going to be that thick. I'm going to cut them down to 3/4 of an inch. Some of you guys are thinking, how come I didn't just cut these pieces longer and then cut a tenon out of these and have it one piece? The reason for that is because at $10 a foot, you want to try to keep the cost down for the customer. Now, when you add up 3 pieces, and that's, you know, 2 per piece on each board, it adds up at the end of the job when you're doing 8 doors. So to try to keep that cost down for the customer, I like to just, you know, take care of my customers that way. It goes a long way. So to do the tenons this way, I'm not charging for that. I included that all in the price of the doors. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Now, some of you guys are thinking, well, a customer is not going to recognize that. You'd be surprised that they actually do. When you give a price on certain doors, or any job for that matter, and then they get a way higher quote somewhere else, there's a reason for it. They kind of tend to ask questions afterwards, and you kind of tell them why. So that's why I did it this way, to keep the cost down for the customer. I always look after my customers that way, whatever is a better price. You know, for something like this, to make tenons doesn't take long. Whip it up quickly, no big deal. It would have been easier for me to just cut the board longer, but again, that extra foot per board, it adds up at $10 a piece. So I'll just make my own tenons. I got these pieces kicking around. I got lots kicking around I can make tenons out of. Bingo bango, Bob's your uncle, Christine's your aunt, and Bill's your sister. So I'm going to take this over to the table saw. I'll cut these up, and then I'll router out my my mortises so I can install my tenons. Take it over to the table saw. Got my router bit in. I'm going to make my passes. In the center, I'm just going to go right through the whole thing. On the other ones, I won't. I'll kick it back a bit. I'll make my passes slowly. And what I'm using for a tenon is right here. This is 6 inches long, or 5.5 inches long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep making my passes. Fits right in there. And of course it's going to go on this side. And I'll do that on all the pieces. I'll route off that piece and go from there. everything's all sanded down. I did a dry fit. Everything's good to go. I got my wedges ready. I'm going to do my glue up. Now this is way too big for my shop. This is a 5x8. I got 2 of them to do. The rest of them are smaller. So it's just going to be suffered out for the time being. I got to walk all the way around. There's very little room to walk around this thing. It's so tight. Again, there's only 2 doors to do. So I'll do my glue up, let it sit overnight. Then after that, I will stain it and put the finish on it. This sat overnight. I'm going to take the clamps out and start sanding everything down. Now we are ready for staining. So, due to the size of the door, and there's no room in here, I sanded this side. I'm going to stain this side, let it sit for a bit. I'll flip it over, sand the other side, stain that side to make it a little bit easier for me. Because it's too big to be tossing around back and forth. So, I'm using the black ebony varathane XXX stain. Now, I'm going to be wiping it as I go, like right almost back to back. They want it dark. He wants it lighter. She wants it darker. I'm all ready for spraying the clear. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to spray the clear on the top, the sand and sealer, the clear on the top. Once it fully dries, then I'll flip it over, spray the sand and sealer again, and then spray it with the clear. This, like I said, it's too big to just be flipping flopping back and forth. So I'm going to take the easy way out and do it that way. Hopefully it all works out, and it should be fine. I can't see. I don't like to sand a sand and sealer in between my clear coats. I'd rather do it first, then spray my clear. Because sand and sealer is it's very chalky, so the dust is quite a bit. But I'll be very careful. Make sure I blow everything off, then spray the clear coat. So hopefully everything will work out. I'm pretty sure it will, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to prep and start spraying my sand and sealer. And that is that. 3 coats of clear. There was a sand and sealer that went on. 3 coats of clear. This door is done. I'm going to toss this over to the side. I got 7 more to go. And then the customer can come and pick up. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. And thanks for watching.